Welcome there to today's webinar. No matter where you came from, I welcome you, and I'm very happy to have you today to talk about mental health and especially very strong, important tips that can help you recover from whatever it is you're struggling with. So whether it's anxiety or stress or low self-esteem or depressive emotions. Today in this webinar, I'll be sharing to you how I completely recovered from anxiety and eating disorder and depression. And I'm going to give you some very useful tips. So be sure to watch till the end because you don't want to miss anything. I'll also be sharing with you the little presentation that we will be going through today, but not everything that I will be talking about is included in the presentation. So make sure to take a pen and paper to make some notes so you get the full value out of today's free webinar. So I'm excited to have you, excited to start. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. So let me just quickly go to my presentation. And normally you should be seeing my screen right now as I'm sharing. Okay, and let me put it on full screen. Perfect. So the topic of this webinar today will be how I coached myself to recovery, overcoming anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and also problems with eating and low self-esteem. So as it sounds like a full package, luckily enough, I managed to completely recover, but I'll get to that in a bit. So first of all, my name is Schindelka. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, and I'm a life coach. So it has become my passion, my purpose to help other people recover from mental obstacles, to find more peace and happiness just within themselves, so they don't need lifelong therapy, need to spend a lot of money just to feel good. I strongly believe in the self-healing capacity of people, and that is my mission here today, to give you that information as well. Spirit Coaching, as you can see, that's the name of my company, where we focus on helping you towards inner peace. So here's just a more quickly introduction. So I'm a mental health coach specialized in themes as anxiety and depression, as I strongly believe that the themes you struggle with yourself and overcome are the themes you can help other people with. So that's what my coaching is based on. And I coach people to overcome mental, emotional obstacles so they can learn to live in the emotional state that they want. So they can choose their emotions, they can choose to feel peace and happiness. That is my mission in Spirit Coaching. So before I got to this point of coaching others, I had a long journey with my own mental health. So before getting into the theory and the practice of this little webinar, let me just first kind of give an introduction so you have an idea of who I am, what my journey was. So my journey with mental health in the past was not an easy one. I struggled with bulimia, depression, anxiety, and panic attacks from the age of 16 until 21, I think. I always forget when it ended, but around the age of 21. So it started off with bulimia because I felt not good enough in my own skin. It turned into an eating disorder. With that came depression. Then I overcame that. Then it came back. Then I experienced heavy anxiety and panic attacks. So the things that all had in common was I felt trapped in my own body and mind. I felt like I couldn't escape myself. I couldn't control my emotions and my urges. So I couldn't control the emotions I was feeling, couldn't control the urges that I had to make me binge or do things that were not good for me. I always had a belief that said that happiness just wasn't meant for me because I struggled for such a long time, and happiness just didn't feel natural to me. It felt like I had to work really hard just to feel good. And so I got this belief that I wasn't meant to be happy. I also had no confidence, felt really low in my own skin. And I struggled every single day just to have a good day. That was like the focus point. Every day I woke up and I was like, okay, please let today be a good day. And I had to struggle for that. And most of the time it just wouldn't work. So as I said, feeling good didn't come natural to me. And I also experienced a lot of anxiety and panic attacks together with episodes of bulimia and depression. So it went so far that at some point when I was younger, I was almost hospitalized with my eating disorder. So when I was about 17 years old, yeah, almost 17, was in the beginning of my journey. I was so low in my eating disorder. I was so not taking care of myself. I felt so depressed that I almost had to go to a mental institution so to get hospitalized. And that really clicked something for me because I really didn't want that. I really wanted more for myself. I wanted to be able to live life the way I wanted to. I wanted to be able to go to college, and that was looking like it was off the table at the time. And I wanted to have more to life or experience more to life than just surviving. I really wanted to live and have that full experience. But at that time, it was really bad, and I just didn't know how to get out. But however, there was a silver lining, as you can see. And I actually found some tools, or I found a method slowly, but it got there where I was finally feeling more and more able to actually help myself and not just go from therapist to therapist, from psychologists or psychiatrists to medication, whatever. I discovered a way to actually help myself. And that was for me the most effective thing that I ever discovered. So my mental health now, before I get into how I shifted from one state where I was so low and almost hospitalized to this state, is so this is my mental state now after I found the tools I needed to recover from these struggles. So first of all, I haven't experienced any kind of depressive or anxious state or struggled with my bulimia in over 2 years right now. So I'm now 23. 23, time flies. And I haven't struggled with any of that for 2 years. Of course, I've had days where I felt like not 100%, but everyone has those days. But mostly, like in general, this is point number 2. I wake up excited for life every day. I feel energy for life. I have a love for life. I just want to get started on my day. I feel happy all the time, or at least I feel very peaceful all the time. And happiness is very natural to me. That's also the biggest shift. Now I feel like my mental health is normal. It feels almost not normal if I have a bad day. So that shift has just been incredible. And third tip, or the third point, is that I really love myself as a person I am today. And I feel at peace with myself and with life every single day. And that doesn't necessarily mean that life around me has changed. But the thing is that once I started to change mentally and emotionally, the world around me started to change with me, because you radiate different energy and you attract different things to you that match that energy. So I went from being an insecure, unhappy, struggling student. This was a picture of me at my worst, and you might not see it completely because I'm smiling, but the smile maybe wasn't so generous as my smile would be right now. I felt, I get emotional looking at this picture because I know how much I was feeling at the time that was just not really good for me. I was really struggling with my eating disorder back then, feeling very depressed, just struggling a lot. This girl was struggling a lot. But I went from being her to being a confident, happy, strong woman with my own business, a family, and most importantly, a loving relationship with myself. So in the first picture on the right, you can see me proudly looking at my poster in front of the window to announce my coaching practice. I'm just so happy that I've been able to make this my job and make it a mission to help other people. And you can see that I'm actually looking at myself in the window with kind of a lot of love, actually. And that's not a bad thing. I think that's the most beautiful thing that I ever got to experience. And on the left corner, you see me and my boyfriend. We live together, and we've just adopted a little dog named Arturo from Italy. So I never imagined when I was at that low point that I could ever have those things, that I could ever be strong enough to basically have a family and have a job and be independent and love myself and be able to just live by my own and be happy. So this is what you're probably all waiting for. How did I get here? So how did I went from being this insecure, unhappy person to being a strong, happy, confident woman? How did I overcome my mental challenges and find true happiness? So I discovered something. This is what it comes down to. So I will now be sharing, I just need to see where I put myself on the screen. Yeah, I will now be sharing what I discovered, what I actually found out that made me recover from all these things. And what I discovered was three things. So first of all, where all my challenges, my mental challenges came from and what caused my unhappiness. So I basically gained more understanding of what is actually going on within me that is causing this. It's not something external. It's not like some god or person saying she doesn't deserve to be happy. What is going on inside of me that keeps causing this unhappiness, that keeps causing this frustration, that keeps causing all this stress and insecurity? I discovered where that came from. So once I discovered where it came from, and once I understood what was actually going on, I was able to change that and choose how I wanted to feel instead, all by myself. So I was able to change my pattern that I was in into the pattern that I wanted. And thirdly, also very important, is I learned why it was necessary for me to go through these challenges. So first of all, where did it come from? So I'm just going to be sharing with you a very important understanding of what is happening in your mind when you're struggling so badly to just be happy, when you're struggling with your mental health. Doesn't matter what it is, the origin or the cause of any mental suffering or any emotional struggle is the same. Doesn't matter if it's anxiety or depression or an eating disorder, the pattern that keeps repeating itself is the same for everyone. So where did it came from? It comes from the mind. That's what I discovered. So I discovered that everything that I was feeling came from my mind. So this is what my mind looks like. So first of all, it starts with maybe a thought. So a thought could be, well, I'm going to go into an example soon. So you have thoughts, and the thoughts influence your emotions. So the negative thoughts make you feel a negative emotion. Because you're feeling negative emotions, you then turn to destructive behaviors or very negative, low energy behaviors that are caused by stress. And when you're performing destructive behaviors, you then have more negative thoughts or more negative emotions. So to give an example, the situation I was in with my bulimia. So for those that don't know what bulimia is an eating disorder where you are so scared of gaining weight, but you're also kind of addicted to food because you restrict it so much that you end up having cycles of restricting, and then binge eating. So eating everything you can find just because your body's so deprived and your mind is so deprived, but then you feel very guilty, so you throw up the food again. So it's not only just really harmful for your mind, it's also incredibly harmful for your body. And that's what I struggled with for about 1 to 2 years, like consistently, and then it was off and on again. And so the pattern here is, for example, I had a belief or a thought that says I'm not good enough. Maybe I compared myself to some classmates back at the time. So that made me feel insecure, unhappy, and not good in my own skin, which eventually led to throwing up my food. Because I was throwing up my food, I reconfirmed the belief I'm not good enough. I felt more insecure, more unhappy, more uncomfortable in my own skin. And then I turned more to food as a result and more into the binge eating. And it just kept going like this until it became a pattern and I just couldn't get out. Another example is for example, with my depression. So maybe I had the thought or belief that says happiness isn't meant for me. So that turned into feeling depressed, which turned into not taking care of myself and doing good things for myself. So just kind of neglecting my body, neglecting my mind. Because I was neglecting myself, I got more the belief of happiness isn't meant for me because I was feeling even more depressed, and it just kept going in that cycle. So I recognized that I kept repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. And so I asked myself, how can I use this to my advantage? How can I actually once I became aware of this cycle, once I became aware of that, this is how my mind and my entire emotional state is working, how can I use that now that I know how it works to my advantage? And that's when I came to number 2, how I could choose how I wanted to feel. So the second point I discovered, first of all, I discovered what I just showed you, how the mind works. And second of all, I discovered how I could choose how I wanted to feel. So that's when I came to the other cycle. So I said, if I have the thought, I'm in control of my life, then I will have a feeling that says, I feel strong and confident. And when I feel strong and confident, I will work out, I will structure my time, and I will take care of myself, which then results into me thinking more thoughts of I'm in control of my life. And then the cycle is actually going in a positive direction instead of a negative one. So the cycle also works the other way around. So I've just been kind of using the thoughts, emotions, habits, or practice cycle, but it can also just go other ways around. You can have maybe the thought, I'm in control of my life, influencing, I work out, I structure, or maybe you start with just structuring your life. You start with the practice of working out, even though you don't have the thought, I'm in control of my life, you act anyway. So you work out, you structure your time, you take care of yourself, which makes you feel a little more strong and confident, which then makes you have the thought, I'm more in control of my life, which then makes you do these things again. So it can go in all kinds of ways, but it's important to realize that the 3 things that create your mental wellness and your emotional stability is thoughts influencing emotions, influencing habits, influencing each other. So thoughts, emotions, and habits. So how do you now practically do this? Because it's easier said than done to just think different thoughts, feel different feelings, or take different actions. And I know that because if you struggle with anything for a long time, I really, really understand, and this was me as well, that you've tried to think different, to do different, to feel different 100 million times, and just nothing is working. It feels like you keep just getting sucked back into the same kind of cycle over and over again. No matter how much you actually consciously want to change, it just feels like something's holding you back. It just feels like you can never get to this place. So why is that? Well, let me just explain how our brain works, because this is also important to understand. So why do we keep getting into that cycle, even though we kind of know that? Why is it so hard, better said, to just change your thoughts, change your feelings, and change your habits? Well, there's 2 parts of our brain, of our mind. So we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. And you can really see this pictured out in this graphic that we have on the right side. So the metaphor we always use is of an iceberg. The top of the iceberg is what you see, is what you are consciously aware of. But what's underneath that is a much larger piece of ice that is kind of carrying the top, that's above water. So the mind works the same way. The conscious mind is everything you are presently aware of. It is your willpower, your long-term memory, your logical thinking, your critical thinking. And then you have the subconscious, which is everything beneath that, which is what you're not aware of, not conscious of, which is your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, your values, everything you see there. So it's something we can't change in the present moment. Well, we can, but it's something we're not always aware of. So often we have an emotion and we just can't capture why it's there. It's like you have a feeling, a depressive feeling, and you're like, why is this even here? I have no idea why, because everything looks perfect. I feel like I'm in a good place. I feel like I should be happy, but I'm not. And that frustration is something a lot of people have, because we expect ourselves to change our emotions, change our feelings, change our habits in the conscious mind by saying, I'm going to do this. But it just doesn't work like that, because it needs to sink through to that subconscious level. And that's why you need to act, you need to take action, and you need to learn practices that will influence the subconscious rather than the conscious. And this might be a little difficult to understand, but trust me, you will understand it in a bit. So to talk more about the difference, the conscious mind is very easily accessible. It works slow because it's developed later into human evolution. It's like the more human part of our brain. And it's influenced by the subconscious. So you are influenced by what is going on subconsciously, in the sense that what you experience right now. The subconscious is difficult to access. It works very fast, and it influences the conscious. And the second part is important to realize. It works very fast because it works very fast because it is kind of our instinct. It's kind of our intuition. So for example, why does it work fast? Well, out of survival, we have to react quickly to danger. So for example, before, when we were attacked by a tiger, when we were still thousands of years ago, then something in us had to say, I immediately need to run. So it has to be very fast. That's what the subconscious is. But the thing is, that mechanism is still there, even though our circumstances have changed and there is not so much danger anymore. But it still means that the subconscious and the anxiety patterns can still be very strong and make us feel something very quickly, even though consciously we're like, what is going on? Nothing bad is happening. That is, for example, what happens with a panic attack. It just hits you so fast that you're like, what is happening? I have no control over my body. And it's not that you don't have control over it. It's just that you consciously can't resist what's going on in the subconscious at that moment. You have to go to the subconscious to change that yourself. So how do you do this practically? So as I was saying, not by trying to change your conscious thoughts, emotions, or practices, but by changing your subconscious thoughts, emotions, and habits. So the difference between so if you have the three terms of thoughts, emotions, and practices, what you can kind of translate that to the subconscious is thoughts become beliefs, things we believe in subconsciously. Second of all, our emotions are just kind of emotions, but more about the emotional patterns that are underneath, emotional trigger responses that we have taught ourselves. And the practices become habits. So habits are things or we do that are just wired in the subconscious of our mind, out of repetition. And it's just something that that feels very strong. The habit to just eat junk food or drink, or those are habits that we may not consciously want to do, but they're just so wired in us that we just do them anyways. So to have mind freedom, as I call it, means, first of all, changing your subconscious beliefs instead of just changing the thought you have in the conscious moment, not just saying, I'm going to have a different thought. No, we ask ourselves, where does that thought come from? For example, the thought, oh my God, I look terrible today. Where does that come from? It comes from the subconscious belief that says, I'm not good enough the way I am. So we change to that more subconscious level. So first of all, changing our subconscious beliefs. Second of all, changing our emotional response to things. So teaching our subconscious mind to react differently to situations that we're in. So no longer with stress or anxiety, but with calmness and peace. So we teach our subconscious different emotional responses to triggers in the outside world. And third of all, we change our habits, our daily structure, and our actions. So we're going to go to this deeper level to change the actions we take, the habits we have. So we're going to replace the negative, unwanted, unproductive habits with very productive, sustainable, and just really good habits for ourselves that have a good impact on us. So that is why I've created an online training to teach you exactly how to do these these three things on your own. So how to change your beliefs and thoughts, how to change your emotional state and response to things, so to find peace, and to create long-lasting positive habits. So I've given you a lot of information that you can already do something with, but it's very hard to explain that in just a short webinar. So that's why I've created a more elaborate, in-deep, personal transformation course to teach you all the practical tools you need to work on these 3 things. It's a very easy course. It's very accessible. Everyone can do it. It's not something you need any kind of knowledge or special skills for. I've made it my effort to make it as affordable, approachable, and transformational as possible. So you can create long-lasting effects and coach yourself instead of having to go from therapist to therapist or from psychologist to psychologist or whatever it is. The purpose of this course is to teach you the tools that I discovered myself to help myself heal and choose the emotional state that I wanted, and to have more energy and to have more joy for life. That is the purpose of this course. So this is kind of some more information on what the course is really about. So there's 6 kind of aspects. First of all, it's a step-by-step training to find true happiness. So independent of which current circumstances you're in. So maybe you're struggling with a relationship breakup, maybe something's going on at your job. Doesn't matter what your circumstances are. This course is going to teach you how to find happiness within. Second of all is learn to self-coach. So you don't need another therapist. As I was saying, you can learn the tools to help yourself. Thirdly is creating peace. So you have a safe home within yourself. Raising your energy. So you can get up excited for life every single morning, just like I do. Becoming an optimist. So you no longer see the glass half empty, but half full, and just go through life as a positive, happy person. And lastly, control your mind. So make your mind your best friend instead of your worst enemy. And that goes in 3 steps. So first of all, we're going to go deeper into understanding our mind. I've given you some previews of what that is, but it's important to go a little deeper and fully grasp why we act so negative, why we experience so much negativity, why our mind does that, and how we can change that. So second of all, in giving you a lot of tools. So the course is very practice focused. It's going to give you tools to use, easy exercises, meditations to transform your subconscious mind and to make yourself feel better. And 3, we're going to work on the habits part and the structure part. So training your mind to stay like that for long term. And the way I do that in the course is it's tied to a structured scheduling of habits and routines that I will teach you in the course. And it has a 30-day challenge to it, because the length that you normally need to really change your subconscious pattern is 30 days. So it's combined with a 30-day challenge that you can use every single day to train your mind to create that long-term change for yourself. So now it's your turn. I've just added some reviews of the course. It's a new course, so there's not that many reviews yet, but these are some reviews from people that have kind of jumped in from the beginning, and they were very, very happy about it. So Amy says, after watching almost all of Robin's videos on YouTube, I finally decided to invest in one of her products and get the newest course. She has helped me so much already through her videos, but this course really took things to another level for me. I've spent many hours in therapy trying to gain some tools to feel better in my own skin, change my emotional state, but never really successful. This course gave me so many tools that actually help, and I finally feel like I can start to heal myself and actually decide where I want to go with my life and my mind. Thanks, Robin, for all you do. I truly recommend this course 100%. I've actually been kind of in touch with her, and she's doing amazing. I'm so proud of her. So that's a very nice review. And then we have Lauren. She says, if you are struggling in any area of your life, invest in yourself by purchasing this course. I've been working with Robin one-on-one coaching for a few months since experiencing DPDR Existential Anxiety and Depression. She has helped me tremendously in this time. I highly recommend her as a coach and can't tell you how many times her words have enabled me to reframe truly terrifying and difficult things in my mind and life. This course sums up all her knowledge and tips. I've already been applying some of the tools when I feel myself slipping into negative cycles. She gives you so much direction, comfort, and practical techniques. If you want to learn any new skill, you'll learn it from an experienced expert. So training your mind is really no different. Filling out my Sunday habit planner, part of the course, kept me on track all week, and look forward to keep me making more progress. Good luck. Thank you so much, Lauren. That was a beautiful review as well. So how can you apply for the course? I've put a link right here, but I'm just going to show you on my website. So I think I'm going to click on here. I actually have it open right here as well. Yeah, so this is my website. It's called Spirit Coaching. I think you probably get this webinar through my website. But if you haven't, this is just where you can find the course. If you go to ebooks and courses, it's the first course that is listed there. You can also change your language here, maybe if it automatically comes to Dutch. So I'm just going to review the course with you to just kind of explain a little bit about it. So this course is for anyone and everyone who wishes to make a change in their life and mostly their emotional experience of life. So if you struggle with your mind, do you find yourself constantly stressed, triggered, anxious, or unhappy? Are there things going on in your life that you can't change that have a huge impact on how you feel and live your life? Do you feel like you're not in control of your mind, emotions, and body? Well, then this course is exactly for you. So even if you just kind of resonate with everything I've said in this webinar, this course is 100% for you, and it's going to teach you everything you need to get to the place that I am right now. So as the title of the course suggests, the course will take you through a complete personal transformation with as greatest focus point, teaching you how to find unconditional happiness and peace within yourself, no matter what your circumstances are. So this is kind of what I already talked about. There's also a private Facebook community where we share our progress, ask questions, support each other. And there will be also some group sessions going on to kind of reflect and talk to each other, to ask some questions and get to know each other. So here's a list of kind of struggles that you can maybe find yourself in that will really be helpful in the course. So the course can really help you with. So stress, low self-esteem, grief, anxiety, feelings of unhappiness or depression, fatigue, body image and eating, but basically any kind of mental, emotional struggle that you have. Or for someone who's just looking for overall more enjoyment of life, overall more happiness and peace, and to gain control of their mind. So what this course will do for you is, this is, I already mentioned this in the points before. And this is the content that you will get practically for the course. So you will get two long videos, one for the theoretical part and one for the practical part. There will be a 30-day challenge with sheets to print out so you can perform the challenge. And a meditation video that is also part of the practice, and the presentation slides separately for you to print out or use as an ebook. So in those two videos, all the practices will be taught to you on like the exercises to change your subconscious mind. And if you have any kind of questions regarding the course, you can always just use the WhatsApp button. It's right here in the corner to talk about like to just kind of message me and ask the question that you need to get from me. So I'm gonna go back to my presentation for a bit. Oh, I can't find it. Okay. Yeah, so I think we've gotten to the end. Yeah, so I hope to see you there soon in the course. I hope that you have gotten something or also from this webinar. I hope you get some new information, maybe some practical tools or some knowledge of how your mind works to already get started with. But yeah, as I said, just message me if you have any kind of interest or questions on the course. Of course, completely free. You don't need to expect anything tied to it. I'm here to help, and really the intention of my course is to help you guys as much as I can. So let me know if you have questions. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. Yeah, and feel free to message me just saying what you guys thought, if you enjoyed it, if you got something from it. And yeah, I am always open to answering any email, any message. And I wish you so much good luck on this journey. I really know that every single person that's watching here can do it, can find their own happiness, can find their own peace. So sending you a lot of love, a lot of light to get through the day, and I'll hope to talk to you soon. Bye.